Well, it would appear we are live. Okay. Well, let's just see if anybody decides to drop by tonight while we work on trees for the layout. So, hey, Mom. Hey, Brian. How y'all doing? Working on trees for the layout. I decided to do a little live stream tonight, just for funsies. Hey, Mike. Good to see you. Glad to see you could show up. No, I'm just casually working on the trees tonight, doing the boring stuff right now because I'm drilling out the bottoms here. See, I cut the stems off that plug into the little plastic bases, and then I take these pieces of paper clip and insert them into the bottom so that way I can stick it directly into the foam on the layout. Hey, Zachariah. Thanks for dropping by, my dude. And this is just basically the slow, tedious process of doing the layout stuff. But we'll get there. I've got all my supplies here, so we'll just keep on going. If you guys want to talk about anything, get involved in the chat. I'm going to grab a hot glue stick right here. I'm going to try hot gluing some of these into the bottom of the trees a little bit, just to see if I can get a slightly better hold compared to, say, super glue, but I got to be quick because hot glue starts drying pretty quick, and I already kind of just messed that one up because it hardened up on me too quick. So that kind of stinks. Where's my little knife there? There we go. Take care of that. And get that drilled out right there. And then we'll try this again. All right. Now we got that hole cleared. We'll go from there. Sorry about that spammer there, folks. Don't get those too often, but sometimes you do. Oh, we got 19 people watching already. Wow. Like the trees from Lord of the Rings. Yeah, I really should try to do that. So maybe I'll look into that at some point. But for now, make me a little stash of paper clips here. And we'll go from there. Hey, Biotech Rick, thanks for dropping by. Hope you're having a good evening on this Thursday night. We got 13 people liking, but none of you have hit the like button yet. So do me a favor, hit that like button for me. That really does help the channel out a lot more than you might think. So it lets YouTube know that you guys like what you're seeing. So If you haven't already, hit that like button for me. It really does help me out. So let me go ahead and try this again here. I haven't done one of these workbench style videos in quite some time, so it's a bit of a new piece of territory for me. Let's see if I can get that in there before the glue sets. There we go. That's a little bit better. So yeah, that's basically what we're doing here. Just taking that little bit of paperclip in here. And that allows me to plug the tree directly into the foam on the layout. So I'll put this right here for now. And we'll go airborne here for just a quick second. You can kind of see trees that have already... Let's do this. Let's try... There we go. You can kind of see the trees that I've already prepped here. And there's also... This is the stash that I'm working from right here. So we'll just keep plugging along. As I said, this is kind of the boring phase of making trees, and you know, you gotta do what you gotta do. Excuse me one moment here. My darn allergies are acting up, so I gotta keep the paper towels on order. All right. So if you got anything y'all want to chat about with me, just feel free to type it in the comments or in the chat box there. And don't forget to smash that like button. But what are you guys up to tonight? You know, let me know in the chat. I love chatting with you guys. And I appreciate each and every one of y'all that comes out to one of these live streams, especially when I don't necessarily announce when I'm doing them, you know. Just do them a little randomly like this. But, hey, y'all still seem to want to come out, so I appreciate that. Trying to use my things here to straighten the paperclip out ever so slightly. Typically, I just cut the straight sections as is and go from there. Let's see. There we go. This is slightly different from how I did my tree making tutorial video a few years back. Mainly because with the foam sections on the layout, you know, I just want to be able to stick it right into the foam and do just minimize the damage, I guess you could say. But you're watching Super Kitties with JR, that's awesome. He does love that Super Kitties show. Let's see. A tiny, tiny dab of hot glue. Get that into the base. That should be good, I think. Snip off a little bit of the excess here. I think that might have just hit the phone camera a little bit. Sorry about that, guys. Okay. And that's really it, you know, it's just the tedium of doing this. So. You got 8 people watching the stream right now. That's awesome. Don't forget to smash the like button for me, guys. It really does help. And, don't be shy. Talk with me down in the chat box. Let me know what's going on your end of the world tonight. Right now, here in Georgia, we're getting ready for some icy weather over the weekend. Mike, if I could do that, I would, but obviously for copyright stuff, I can't do that on my YouTube channel. But, the radio show has been fun to do, I will admit. I do have virtual railfan going off camera. I've got the camera in La Plata, Missouri, pulled up. That's a really cool place to train watch if you've never been there in person. I've been there once several years ago, and it was awesome. Challenger Pat, 9810, thanks for dropping in tonight. Making happy little trees and placing them where they need to be. Also, hello there. Hello there yourself. Yes, we are working on happy little trees tonight. Just the prep work, really. We're getting the bases put on them. Just getting them ready for foliage, which will be the next step. I've got about 30 trees in reserve right now, ready to go. So I just have to do the tedious work. So my hair is absolutely terrible. I need to get it cut a little more. Everybody likes a little Bob Ross mention in there. Let's see here. I can't find it at the moment. Oh well. We're just going to paint a happy little tree right here. It's all good. We'll give him a friend. Everybody needs a friend. Even a little tree. Slag Cat, how you doing, my friend? Thanks for dropping by tonight. We're working on trees for the layout. Doing the tedious prep work. Trying to get the layout as finished as I can before the 2026 National Convention takes place in Chattanooga. Because my layout, if y'all don't know, is going to be part of the tour that the National Model Railroad Association is hosting in association with that convention. So during one day or maybe even a couple of days of the convention, we'll be hosting public open houses here at my place. So you'll be able to come by and see the layout in person. So if y'all are able to do it, the details have not been fully flushed out just yet, but the convention itself is going to take place the last week of July, first weekend of August. It's going to be July 27th through August 2nd. So the convention will take place during that week. And then on the weekend, there will be a big modeler and collectors train show at the convention center in downtown Chattanooga. So if you guys want to come, by all means, please do. It's going to be a lot of fun. The NMRA will be posting the information, I believe, on there. They've got a Facebook page and a website associated with the convention in Chattanooga. You'll know it. It'll say, what are they calling it this year? I don't even remember. But the logo's got the Southern Railway 4501 as part of the thing. So that'll be good. I hope you can make it down, Mike. That'd be fun. Oh Lord, send it to Indiana. Ugh, that's rough. Oh, I know, Mike. It's been when did you come down? 2022, I think. So it's certainly been a long time because JR was a baby at that point when y'all came down and visited then when you brought the John Henry. Come on, go in there. There we go. And then get the excess hot glue off of there. Luckily, this isn't the holy moly burn everything it touches hot glue, so that's that. And this is what we're looking at right now as far as the trees that we've already done. This one was just kind of left over from the last one because I ran out of foliage. So, gots to do what you gots to do. And in that case, I gots to get more foliage, which I did. As well as some additional trees to take care of stuff. There we go. I'll throw those away properly later. Yep, 2022, June of 22 to be specific. Yep, that's right. I remember that. That was a fun time when you came over. Now you can see the layout even more completed now than it was then. So, because I don't even think, I didn't get all the bench work and track done until 23. So yeah, so we were still working on stuff then. But if any of y'all can make it down for the convention next year, or this year rather, it would be awesome to meet some of you guys. We're going to have this layout on display. We're going to have my son's in-scale layout on display. And there might be a third layout on display as well if we can get it crammed in. You know, I kind of mentioned it in the last layout update video I did, but I haven't really gone into details on it yet. But I purchased a layout summer of last year. I actually drove all the way to Pennsylvania to purchase it. And I haven't been able to show that layout on camera yet. So I really need to do that, though. I really need to feature that layout at some point. It's nothing really unique, except for the fact I will give you a little bit of spoilers here, that it is a narrow gauge layout. So, and the person who built the bench work, which I say bench work, it's not a huge layout. It's only about 44 inch by 44 inch, so a big square. However, he was going to use it to model the East Broad Top Railroad. So that was cool, and he was selling it for a really good price. And it's HO in 3. And it's just raw hills and stuff. You know, the base scenery work has been really well done. But it needs to have, like, actual scenery done. And I just haven't had the time to dedicate to working on that. No, I'm not going to have to mount anything to the ceiling. At least as far as the layout is concerned. I will say, though, that I do have some railroad lanterns that I would like to display during the convention, during the open houses. They might get hung from the ceiling. Kind of like how that Southwest Airlines jet that's right there. See, right there. That one, the lanterns might get hung up in that style like that jet is, because that just to save on space. And there's not a whole lot of them. They're just ones that I was given over the course of my teenage years. and I just haven't had a way to properly display them, so we might do that. K&R Custom Models, welcome. Good to see you, Richard. I hope you and Ken are doing awesome. I was just looking at those pictures of your engine house that you sent me. That's going to be cool. Your layout is coming along absolutely fantastically. And yes, you do recognize the pliers, Richard. Yes, I've been slowly chipping away on what you sent me back in August or September, somewhere in that range. And it's going to go on the back part of the layout right here. So I'm just slowly chipping away at those. Richard actually worked on a set of oil storage tanks for me. He 3D printed those up for me. Get in there. And they are scaled down versions of the O-scale ones that he's got on his layout, and they're really cool. I can't wait to get them finished and painted, which I'm going to do before the convention. So, and I will let you know if I need parts. I've still got all the parts. In fact, they're sitting right over here. All the railings and all the stairs. They're right here in this plastic. Plastic? That's not plastic. In this coffee mug, waiting to go on the tanks themselves. So let me just clip off a little bit right here. Let's see. There we go. All right. But those are really cool. I'm really glad that it worked out that we were able to get those on the layout. And a little bit of spoilers. They're meant to be oil tanks, but I'm going to use mine as actually part of a water treatment facility / storage facility. So I think that'll look really cool because the water tanks in my hometown are white like that. And I think it would be a nice little nod to scenes in my hometown to do it like that. So that's what I'm going to do there. And it should come out pretty good, I think. But thanks to K&R Custom Models for working on that for me and hooking me up with that. If you guys want 3D printed stuff, like signals, like I'll show you right here. If you're into O-scale, these are some of their custom signals that they make. They're 3D printed, and they have the electronics in the base themselves, and they go right to the track. They're really cool. So, and they do other things as well, like those tanks. But, oops, I just dropped my hot glue gun. Hold on a moment. There we go. And I just dropped the glue out of the gun. That's even worse. So we're just going to do that and act like that never happened. Show off my professionalism. Let's see. Printing up hinges for the O-scale buildings using Atlas track nails for hinge pins. Nice. Now that's clever. I like that. That's a good use for them outside of their main use. All right, Mike. Go put the little one to bed. But thanks for dropping by. I appreciate you, my friend. If you guys haven't already, be sure to smash that like button on the stream. It really does help me out a lot more than you might think. If you're just now joining, we're working on trees for the layout. The Woodland Scenics armatures, putting the wires into the base so they can just be stuck into the foam scenery like this, only with foliage added onto them later. So I got about 30 trees in total from this batch that I need to work on. I've also got some Woodland Scenics pine trees that I need to work on also. So, you know, let's see, I'm losing track of my tools here. Let's see here. we go. So are you guys working on anything tonight on your layout or for your layout? Let me know down in the chat section. Richard was working on some stuff for his engine house, I know. He sent me photos just before I started the stream, and they're looking really good. Go follow K&R Custom Models on YouTube to see what he's doing with his awesome O-scale layout over in the Carolinas there. He's got some good stuff. The Alaska, Santa Fe, and Pacific, that's his layout. And it's pretty cool. Like I was saying earlier, we're looking at some cold weather here in Georgia in the coming days, especially on Saturday. And come on, get in there. Sometimes these things like to fight you a little bit. Building the second to last table for your layout. That's awesome. Bench work may be the most important thing for layout building, but it is arguably the least fun part of layout building because it has to be done. Oh, no problem, Richard. I always am happy to plug you guys. You guys do fantastic work, and frankly, it is a shame that more folks do not know about you. It's because you make good products for a fair price. There needs to be more startup companies with your attitude out there. Took you weeks to get your layout built. Took me 2 years to get the bench work all done for this current layout. So that's a thing. But once you do get that bench work built, that is when the fun can begin, because bench work is necessary, but scenery, that's where you really can let your artistic license fly. Okay. That one didn't work, so we'll try to do that. Oh, that's good. That's good. More people ought to do that. Do y'all still sell through Legacy Station? Because I know y'all had that, and I think Mr. Muffins also was selling your stuff at one point, in addition to stuff just coming in, like yeah, Legacy and Mr. Muffins. That's what I thought. See, I may be out of the O-scale scene, but I'm not fully asleep on it. Speaking of that, I don't know if any of y'all saw the little YouTube short that I made today. Lionel in HO scale is actually coming out with a HO scale scale test car. So that's interesting. And they're doing quite a few road names for it as well. There it goes. That one went in that time. And a lot of direct orders too. Excellent. That's good to hear. I'm very happy to hear that. But anyways, that Lionel scale test car looks very interesting, and it's a brand new tooling. I don't think I'm going to pre-order one, but I do think I'm going to keep an eye on it at least, and do my best to try to get one once it comes out. Ideally, I would get a Kansas City Southern painted one, because that goes well with my CPKC theme, but we'll see. Right now, we're showing 13 people watching the stream. Thank you guys so much for coming out. Just be sure to hit the like button for me, guys. It does help me out a lot. It lets YouTube know that you guys like what you see. Taking a leap and bought the entire Santa Fe 125-year set with the AC9 overnight set. Nice. I assume you mean the Southern Pacific AC9? Because that's a cool locomotive. I like that. Layout is currently 8 by 18 and 7 inches right now, but soon will change. That's good. That is very good. I don't have the exact feet or square footage of my layout per se, but the room, the train room, this whole space takes up is 15 feet by 22 feet and inches. So, and the layout takes up the majority of that space. Did I not drill this one out? I don't think I drilled this one out. I am stupid. But every where we're sitting right here, where it's just my chair right over here, my television, and my desk, that's the only space that the layout is not in. So my layout takes up pretty much the bulk of this room. We're about 32 minutes into the stream. Thank you guys for stopping by and watching. Just remember to smash that like button for me. .36 by 32. That's a darn good size layout, and I've seen it. Well, I've seen the videos of it, I should say. I haven't seen your layout since it got operational. But I do remember going into that house while you were building it, and it's awesome, the space you've got for a train room there. Down, cursed tree. Get onto your mounting post. There we go. And the room's 36 by 40. Gotcha. Okay. Yeah, you've really got it made where you are. Even a custom Pokestop for your fishing dock for Pokemon Go. That's really cool. This is the only part that is a bit annoying, is that sometimes the plastic will melt onto the drill bit like it has done here. So let me see if I can trim that off real quick. There we go. Got 12 people watching now. If you're just now joining, we're making trees for the train layout. At least doing the prep work for it. If you haven't already, smash that like button for me. And thank you guys for coming by. Just kind of having a little casual stream tonight, you know. I finished up stuff at the college today and went to a doctor's appointment in the afternoon. He gave me some cortisone shots into my knees, and so now they're feeling pretty good. First time in a while. tore my knees up, oh Lord, nearly 16 years ago in high school. Been living with it ever since. Nice, that one went in perfectly. You can kind of see that's what we're doing here. We're trying to add this paperclip thing to the trees if you're just now joining us. That way I can just stick it right into the foam on the layout. So here, I'll show you here real quick. This is just a little off piece of foam that I've got. And I just stick it in there. And I use that kind of as a little staging area for the trees. That way I can just nip one up and go to work on it. Gonna trim a little bit off of the bottom of this carefully here. I don't want to slice my finger off. There we go. But, you know, people always appreciate the work that goes into making a layout once it's done. But what they don't see is the behind the scenes stuff like this, the stuff that just takes hours of work. So, you know, it is what it is. I actually find making trees very therapeutic. Something's coming by on BNSF and Virtual Railfan, 5 locomotives on a double stack train. There we go. Don't be shy, guys. Feel free to interact in the chat. I do enjoy talking to you guys. And your presence is appreciated. I can tell you that. But we'll keep the stream going for a little bit longer. This is probably one of the longer live streams I've ever done. I usually don't go much past the 30-minute mark. You know what, though? Sometimes it's nice to... Oh! Nearly hurt myself there. That's not good. Nearly hurt myself on camera. That would have been terrible. What kind of DCC system do I have? I use Digitrax for my layout. I use the Digitrax Zephyr Express. It's the, I guess you could say, a startup system for them, but I really like it, especially the new updated version that they came out with when I got back into HO. It's really good. It's nice and solid, easy to understand. Some people say NCE is better than Digitrax. You know, to each their own. Personally, I think Digitrax is a little better, but that's what I've been used to in terms of DCC. Even when I was doing HO back in the day, when I was working at Train Masters, there we go. They had Digitrax for the system on the store layout, and it was just very easy to follow, easy to understand. So when I got back into it, I just went back to what I was familiar with, and that was Digitrax. Took you 6 months to build the roundhouse, 3 weeks for 2 stall engine houses and scenery in between. Yeah. You say that the Digitrax is the one that clubs use the most. Not my club. They use something called, I think, DigiKeys. It's a Dutch designed DCC system. But the throttles aren't really good for building consists, I've found. Luckily, they use TCS throttles also. And TCS throttles, I've found, are really user-friendly, especially when it comes to building consists. Now, they don't plug into the layout for control like Digitrax does or NCE. It's all based off of a Wi-Fi signal. And The DigiKeys remotes do the same thing, but I find that the TCS throttles are really good, and you can use them on any system that has Wi-Fi. So they're extremely user-friendly. And consisting is very simple. Even Digitrax can be a little complex. You know, if you're not... Someone once told me that Digitrax was good for folks who like computers. And I can see that because some of it is kind of code-based. Did I drill this one? I think I did. I'm losing my memory again and hurting myself in the process. I definitely did not drill that. Ouch. I'm getting my steps mixed up and hurting myself in the process. So you get to watch me injure myself on camera. Isn't that fun? That really did hurt, though. Ugh. But no, the TCS throttles are good. I might get one just so I don't have to keep borrowing the club ones all the time. And I do have Y throttle capability on my layout also, which I use the engine driver app as a means to operate my trains. And it's pretty good. I like it. Let's see if I can rebend this piece of paperclip without hurting myself again. Well, I'm not cutting this per se. I'm only using this as a means to hold onto the wire while I shove it into the base of the tree. So this is what I'm using to cut the paper clips themselves. So, but don't worry, I'm doing my best to be careful. Sometimes even the most professional ones still manage to accidentally hurt themselves, and I've got my share of model railroad boo-boos, that's for sure. There we go. Flawless operation. No problem at all. Just pull off that little bit of excess hot glue that has dried. And there we go. That one is ready to go. Yeah, paper clips are really good. I mean, these Woodland Scenics trees here. Give me just 1 second. I'll be right back. So this is what one of the trees looks like when you build it the way you're supposed to. So this is how I do it. I just use hot glue and apply the clump foliage. And then it has this little base that it plugs into, and then you can just glue this onto the layout. This is one of my stepson's trees that I made for his in-scale layout. So this is good. This works. And I used this on my branch line when I was first building stuff. However, if you've got a foam scenery base for your layout, like I've got for over half of my layout, it's good to be able to just stick that right into the foam itself. Partially because, arguably, if you don't like where it is, you can move it around easily. But also, if you want a more permanent setup like what I'm doing, I just take what I've got, put a little bit of hot glue onto the wire, stick it into the foam, and that's not coming out. So it's a very good method for doing that. And it looks a little cleaner also. You know, it looks a little more natural with just the trunk going into the ground, instead of having this base that you then have to put ground cover on to cover up and try to mask the fact that that base is there. And all it really takes is just a tiny little drill bit, like what I've got on here. You can do it by hand, and I've seen people do it by hand. Admittedly, I did it by hand when I first started, but it does take a little longer, and your fingers do get sore after a bit. So long as you're careful, you can plug it right into a power drill like this. But c'est la vie, you do you. Here comes the Southwest Chief into La Plata, Missouri on the opposite track tonight. Not coming into the track next to the platform, but he's got a Phase 7 P42 on the point, the 138, and a Phase 5 P42, number 77. And he's also got a Phase 7 painted Amfleet coach behind the cars. I got the virtual railfan camera pulled up. It's always nice to have some train-related content, or just any content really playing while you're working on stuff. So, I remember when the pandemic happened, when we couldn't be in contact with anyone or see anyone, my mom and I would share video, or phone calls rather, each night. And we each would have virtual railfan pulled up, and we would watch the Southwest Chief doing its station stop at La Plata. And they're pulling all the way past the camera tonight to load coach passengers. No sleeping car passengers tonight. So, yeah, I like doing that. So, well, guys, we are sitting right at 47 minutes for the stream. And I think that is pretty good. A pretty good time to call it a night as far as the stream. I'm going to keep working on these trees, but I really appreciate you guys tuning in tonight and checking out what I'm doing. Some more videos are coming out soon on some passenger cars and other things that I will do review videos for. But for now, I'm going to keep working on trees and getting that layout ready for summer. So yeah, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you guys in the next video. This is ravenhawk6910, signing off.